A very good, very happy Friday morning to everyone out there. Landon here with you early on this final day of the work week, bringing you your latest weather and weather forecast courtesy of our friends at On Target. We got plenty to talk about here, folks. First and foremost, we had this little wave move through earlier this morning. We've had some flying flurries on the Skycam, but that's about it. We got our Cyclone Port network along with our local Skycam network that is showcasing clear roadways across the region. Maybe a stray slick spot on the bridges and overpasses out there, but outside of that, not too much to worry about. We got the clouds that are hanging tough here over the state of Kentucky, but you can see we got a warm front right here on our doorstep. It's going to result in rising temperatures here as we progress and work throughout the day. Now we're starting off on the chilly side, just below freezing. We're going to warm up significantly, and then we're going to be watching as we get this little disturbance here out of the north and west, undercutting here on the backside of the cold front. It's going to result in the opportunity of snow showers or even a wintry mix taking over late this afternoon and then onto this evening. Potential for a all-snow transition coming along with that as well, with minor accumulations not being ruled out. All right, we'll be diving into the depths of that here in just a moment. D93 Skycam kicking off our current conditions overlooking the parking garage. Hot Rod Stadium there. We got the blanket of cloud cover holding strong early on. Same can be said overlooking our WRUS Skycam down in Russellville. North over 431 showcasing the morning commute getting started. You can see some of the lights refracting off the bottom edge of the cloud deck out there, showcasing the stratus layer of clouds that is currently residing here across the region. We can take a look at our current conditions. We can give you the full scope view, and we have got those readings that are right below freezing here across the vast majority of the viewing area. Now you will know with readings right around the 30-degree mark, but look over here off to our west where the warm front is currently lifting to the north and east here across far southwest Kentucky. We already got readings hitting 7 to 10 degrees warmer than what we're seeing over here across the Wobbles region. That is a testament to what's to come here as we work throughout the day. We're going to be well above freezing as we work into this afternoon. And then the question marks come into play, that undercutting colder air and the exact timing of its arrival. So let's give you the full breakdown first and foremost with the short-term model guidance here to bring you the breakdown. Earlier this morning and currently we had this little quip of these scattered snow flurries that moved across the region and brought next to nothing as anticipated. But all eyes are as we work into this afternoon on into this evening. Going to have this lobe of energy arriving here. We have the colder air trying to undercut the moisture arriving out of the north and west, and the question mark is the exact timing that all this will be taking place and unfolding. As we go throughout our evening commute, we're expected to have widespread rain showers, perhaps a wintry mix of sleet and snow taking over the region between the mid and late afternoon. And then as we work into the evening hours and our column of air continues to cool, look at the transition here over to a widespread light snow swath with some moderate to even heavy snow bands at times coming to fruition within this widespread shield of precipitation. This continues as we work throughout this evening, continuing all the way through the pre-dawn hours of our Saturday, and not just that, even throughout the daylight hours of our Saturday. We're going to have these sporadic little snow bursts that are going to be across the region. So after we get the widespread snow showers and wintry mix east of the region late tonight into very early Saturday morning, just these scattered bouts of these little snow bursts that'll be transversing east across the region. Now, this is continuing all the way through the pre-dawn hours of our Sunday morning, and then by the time we finish out the weekend, we should have loads of sunshine coming back into the fold here for us. In between those snow squalls and those snow bursts on Saturday, we could be getting some breaks of sunshine too that could actually maybe promote a little bit more of that snow squall activity. Here is where the difficulty comes into play with this forecast. Our temperature profiles are not cooperating in terms of getting a lot of snowfall on the ground, with our temperatures getting well above freezing this afternoon, but then struggling to fall as the system continues to ripen throughout this evening and then on throughout the overnight whenever we'll finally send those values downward, all right? So here we are looking at early this morning. We were down the low in mid-20s right around midnight. We have since rebounded to right around the 6 a.m. range between the upper 20s and lower 30s like we were just looking at via the Mesonet. But look at this afternoon. Warm front lifts north over the region. Southwesterly winds take over. We're going to be hitting highs right around 50 degrees, okay? That's going to raise, obviously, air temperatures are well above freezing, but our ground temperatures look to be above freezing as well. Now watch as the precipitation shield arrives and takes over out of the south and west, and our column begins to quickly cool. From 50 degrees all the way down to 40 degrees or even in the upper 30s by sunset this evening. And then the snow continues, but look at how our temperature profiles just kind of meander and waffle between the mid and upper 30s. That's not a recipe to get meaningful snowfall on the ground, all right? Here we are continuing throughout the pre-dawn hours of Saturday morning, and finally, right around sunrise, we're finally going to hit right at or below freezing. This is going to make it difficult to get any sort of meaningful accumulations on the ground. I do think minor accumulations will be a possibility, maybe a dusting, if we're lucky, squeezing out a half inch, upwards of an inch. But the temperatures just aren't in place for my confidence to be very high and that occurring. The snow bursts will continue throughout our Saturday, hit and miss, scattered in nature, with temperatures meandering on either side of the freezing mark, again, adding more of a pain to this forecast. And then we work into our Saturday night whenever the bulk of the moisture gets out of here and into our Sunday, and then the bottom's finally going to drop out on our temperatures. So if we got any wet pavement out there or whatever Saturday night into Sunday morning, it could still result in the opportunity of some slick travel out there. Snow rates can overcome warm ground temperatures. So if we get very heavy snow rates late this afternoon throughout this evening, that can obviously result in snow-covered roadways and slick spots in regards to travel. We will need to be keeping very close eyes on that. Let's talk about what's going to be unfolding after this weekend because, folks, I'll be completely honest with you. In terms of significant snow chances, my confidence is higher in this occurring as we work into the next 8 to 10 to 12 days out, all right? So here we are looking at the big picture. This trough and this weather maker works east of the region. The next weather maker that we're going to be keeping eyes on arrives right around the middle portion of next week, all right? Keep your eyes right here with that area of high pressure shifting east of the region. And then look right here. This little lobe of low pressure developing down here across the deep south is trying to throw a slug of moisture out of the Gulf up into our direction. And as we work into our Wednesday night into Thursday morning, this is a sneaky little setup. We have this overrunning event with the moisture trying to come up and over the colder air here at the surface. This could be a sneaky little freezing rain setup. So we'll need to watch that closely Wednesday night into Thursday morning of next week. We've been preaching about it here throughout this week, folks, but our focus has continued to be right around January 24th-ish, taking us through roughly the 27th to 28th range. So basically, the final full week of January is where we're going to be watching because keep your eyes right here across the lower Ohio Valley. Here we are working into Saturday on the 24th, leading us into Sunday the 25th, and look at this setup. We got this battle zone that sets up right across the heart of the Bluegrass and the lower Ohio and Tennessee valleys. We got the warm side of this zone located down here to the south with rain coming right up along the Tennessee border, and then a wintry mix splitting the difference right across the heart of the Wobbles community in Kentucky. It wouldn't have it any other way, would it? And then look to our north, right along the north of the Ohio River in the Bluegrass region of Kentucky, we get in on an all-snow event. So that one is obviously going to have to be monitored and watched very, very closely, but watch after this weather maker. We get another little lobe of energy right here on the back edge of it, rolling into Monday, January 26th. High pressure builds back in, and then we get these low pressure systems trying to work from Colorado down across the southern plains and into the Gulf. That keeps a snow signal across the region as we roll into January 27th, 28th, and 29th. So for meaningful snow amounts, I do like the longer term range much more than what I like the short term here with what we're seeing with the climatical pattern that we are anticipating that's going to unfold. Now to summarize all this, take a look at the latest from the Climate Prediction Center. Over the course of the next 8 to 14 days, temperatures are forecast just to be right below average, but look at our precipitation model, above average. So again, we're going to be splitting the difference in the long term right along this battle zone. That's really going to determine if we can get any sort of meaningful snowfall on the ground. Historically, our highest snowfalls here across the Wobbles community occur from Martin Luther King Jr. Day to Valentine's Day is the time frame that we want to monitor. Obviously, this falls right into the middle and the mix of that. Short-term model guidance, latest from the National Weather Service. Chance of a dusting of snow this evening into tonight into our Saturday, and it's a flip of a coin. We got a 40 to 50% probability of seeing some sort of covering or coating on the ground from snowfall here throughout this short-term guidance this evening through Saturday. Chance of 1 inch of snowfall, well, you're saying there's a chance, but it's next to nothing. Right along the I-65 corridor, right here across the Wobbles community, we range from a 5% probability to roughly a 20% probability of getting at least an inch of snowfall on the ground. Doesn't look like temperature profiles are going to be cooperating with us for that to come to fruition. Not completely ruled out. We'll be watching, but we are expecting perhaps a dusting or some minor accumulations for some of us here before this is all said and done. A full 6-day forecast breakdown. Highs near 50 today. Get the scattered rain showers that's going to take over. Then a transition to a wintry mix and all snow as we work throughout tonight. Temperatures right around 32 degrees. Again, folks, we're right on the line, if you will, for the freezing mark. Saturday, scattered snow bursts with highs trapped between the low and mid 30s. We'll be right back down between the upper 20s, lower 30s on Sunday, despite sunshine. Keeping us in the meat locker. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on into our Tuesday with highs trapped. Still in the 20s to lower 30s. Then we'll be in the mid 40s Wednesday. And look at Wednesday night. Lows down to the mid 20s. That little sneaky freezing rain setup I mentioned. Well, obviously by monitoring as well. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Friday morning weather or not forecast presented by On Target. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Stay updated and locked in to Weather or Not across all your platforms. We'll be bringing you frequent updates throughout the day as deemed necessary. You all take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Have a blessed